Some people are saying this last weekend's race, the F1 race at Baku in Azerbaijan, was the race of the season 2024 so far. I'm not sure yet if I agree with it. However, we definitely saw some beautiful, beautiful racing this weekend. So with that, I want to share with you my personal 6 highlights of this weekend's race in Azerbaijan. Hey folks, and welcome back to the Daily Racing Show here at RacePlazaMedia. My name is Pia, and without much further ado, let's just start with point 1. First of all, I definitely was expecting a safety car at some point during the race, maybe even during the start. However, the start went off pretty much without a hitch. There was, of course, some grid changes right from the beginning, but no major incidents. I definitely think that the drivers do drive a little bit differently in a circuit such as Baku, just because it's so tight, the margins are so little, and there is very little runoff area. So a mistake can cost you very, very much. However, we did have in lap 2 probably maybe the second biggest incident of this race between Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda. They collided during a turn, and Lance said that Yuki didn't leave him enough space. At first, I thought Lance only got away with a puncture and Yuki seemed to be fine. However, later out, it turned out that both cars had some issues and both of them DNF'd. Yuki ended up DNFing around lap 16, and then Lance Stroll made it almost all the way to the end of the race. However, he ended up DNFing due to a brake problem in lap 47. Highlight number 2, of course, going into the race, there was lots of talks due to the last race about the papaya rules. Are they going to change things? And then Piastri also announced going into the race that there are some new rules that he will be supporting Lando starting from now on for the driver championship. However, the rules are McLaren, the constructor first, and then would be Lando second. If you watch qualifying, you already know that Lando didn't have the best qualifying session. He had a little bit of bad luck. At the end of Q1, there was a short yellow flag that impacted his last timed lap, which ended up not allowing him further into Q2. So he ended up starting pretty far back in the grid, so we knew he wasn't necessarily in contention for the podium. However, Piastri did some beautiful racing yet again, and he was definitely in contention, not only for the podium, but potentially for the win. So my highlight number 2 for lap 15/16 is Lando being the team player that he is or was in Baku. He ended up helping Piastri by holding off Sergio Perez for a little bit, allowing Piastri to go into the pits, changing the tires, and coming out just barely in front of Sergio. I definitely think there was some mistakes made from the McLaren engineering team yet again, or strategy team, that they left him out just maybe a little bit too long, so Lando had to help. Luckily, Lando was able to help him hold off Sergio just a little bit, which can be tricky in Baku because of those long straights. On the straights, of course, it's impossible for him to do much holding back, but definitely he slowed them down during the slower and medium speed corners. Highlight number 3. This one was the move that he had to do. People still talk about this move because it was a ballsy move. Lap 20, Piastri ended up taking the lead from Leclerc into turn 1. He was braking pretty late. He took the inside of the turn and he made the move stick. It was quite tricky. Even Piastri said it in the cool down room. There was a 50-50 chance. He knew it was high risk. However, there was high reward. What a beautiful overtake. And Leclerc had to fight quite a bit afterwards. Both of them, really. Piastri said it was quite a stressful race for him because Leclerc was on the back of him for the next 10 plus laps, always in DRS, always trying to make that move or trying to find a way around him. But Piastri ended up keeping the lead for many more laps. Highlight number 4. Of course, this is the big incident of this race in Baku, lap 50. I mean, it was beautiful going into it. We had Piastri in the front, Leclerc after him, then we have Sergio Perez, and then Sainz. Sainz was getting closer and closer to Perez over the last couple of laps, so there was a question whether or not he will be able to fight for a seat in the podium and maybe even fight Leclerc for second place. So we're going into the 50th lap of the race, and there it happens. First, we have Charles Leclerc defending from Checo Perez. In that moment, Sainz sees his moment, and he ended up passing Checo right then and there as well. He gets quite close to Charles, so he had to go wide into the corner. However, now it looks like there's the podium would be Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc, and then Carlos Sainz. However, the race is not quite over yet. We have this very long straight. We have Carlos on the right side, Checo really close to him on the left side, and Charles Leclerc out front. It looks like Sainz was trying to stay in the slipstream of Charles Leclerc and also following the more typical racing line that drifts a little bit further to the left. Checo a little bit further behind him didn't see it, I guess, happening. So they got really close. They ended up clipping and going at very, very high speeds into the wall. Luckily, both drivers are okay. Of course, they were both frustrated because there was a podium and lots of points for both of the constructors as well as drivers up for grabs, which they unfortunately lost out to. I personally think it was maybe just a smidgen more Checo's fault because he was behind Sainz, so he could see where he was going, and there was a lot of space to the left, so he had some space for him to just get out of the way just a little bit. But of course, you're racing, you don't want to give up your line. He was maybe also trying to catch Leclerc's slipstream, so that it was really marginal. But that's Baku. It's really millimeters, and it's not just Baku, it's racing. Really, it's really just about millimeters in racing. I mean, it was quite the big shock at the end of the race. Lap 50 this happened. The race had 51 laps, and it did hurt, unfortunately. Also, Nico Hülkenberg, he ended up being passed by two people after passing the crash site, so that hurt him and got him out of the range for points. Highlight number 5, the podium. It is Oscar Piastri's second win in Formula One, the second one for this season alone, the second one in his entire career, which is he's only in the second season, guys. It's already his second win. I'm very much impressed by him. I'm definitely one of those people who thinks that he will be a driver champion, a world champion in Formula One one of these days. I mean, he definitely had a beautiful race. It was, as I said, he said it was quite stressful for him. He had to do a lot of fighting. It was not an easy win for him, but he definitely proved himself. Also, it's probably just a little bit a nicer win compared to the first one, where there was... Well, let's not talk about the first win. We will celebrate his second win. What a beautiful win it was. Congratulations to Oscar Piastri. Also, congratulations to Charles Leclerc, who came in second. I know he wasn't really happy about second because he started in pole, and Azerbaijan, Baku is really his race. He's been on the pole there for many times previously. So it was... man, it hurts a little bit because he also won the last race, which was beautiful, so it would have been nice for him to keep it going. But second place is still wonderful. And then third place, the lucky guy yet again, George Russell, was able to take third place after both Checo and Carlos Sainz crashed out. What a lucky man. It's not the first time this season that he lands on the podium due to either crashes or infighting. So good for him. I mean, he almost predicted it. He said during the post-qualifying interview that the one way he will definitely be on the podium, or the ideal circumstances for him, would be if the first 4 crash out and he wins the race. That didn't quite happen, but 2 of the 4 did indeed crash out, so George Russell ended up coming in third. And before moving on to my final highlight of the race, I do wanted to give a couple quick shout outs to 4 different drivers. First off, I'll shout out to Lando Norris. Not only did he do a beautiful job holding back Checo Perez, playing the team game, but he also had an excellent race. He started in 15th and he ended up coming in 4th. He ended up scoring more points than Max because he ended up in front of him, and he also ended up getting fastest lap. Max was trying to get fastest lap, but due to the incident in the 50th lap, it kind of messed up that plan. So not only did Lando earn more points during the race because he ended up in 4th in front of Max Verstappen, but he also ended up getting the additional points for the fastest lap, which definitely helps him overall in the driver championship. Secondly, I want to give a shout out to Sir Lewis Hamilton. He ended up starting in the pits, and he came in ninth. He ended up scoring a point after starting way in the back. What beautiful racing. And also, just keep in mind, he did that in the Baku street circuit, which is notorious for being very difficult, if not almost impossible for passing. I mean, you saw Charles Leclerc, he was fighting. And although he had DRS lap and lap again, he wasn't able to pass Piastri. But Sir Lewis Hamilton was able to pass many of the drivers. And it was also beautiful to see post-race that he was giving a handshake to both of the rookies on the grid, Ollie Bearman and Franco Colapinto, and congratulating them not only to a great race, but also to scoring points, which is huge. And that leads me to my next shout out, of course, to Ollie Bearman as well as Franco Colapinto for not only beautiful races, but also to scoring points as rookie drivers, not officially even in their own seats. Franco Colapinto, as you know, is only helping out for the remainder of the season as he is replacing Logan Sargent, and Ollie Bearman just replaced Magnussen for the single race. Yes, he's coming back next season full time, which I'm very much looking forward to, but what a beautiful success. And I'm sure you've heard about this odd little record that Ollie Bearman is now holding, because on both of his debut races with two different manufacturers or constructors, he's both times earned points, which is a brand new record. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to Franco Colapinto. And lastly, point number 6, congratulations to McLaren to officially be the leader in the Constructor Championship at this moment. They're leading by 20 points right now ahead of Red Bull. It's the first time they're leading the Constructor Championship since 2014. So 10 years has it been since they've led a Constructor Championship, and it's been since 1998 that they've won a Constructor Championship. And just a little fun fact, 1998 was the time also where Adrian Newey was their car designer. So it's been such a long time for McLaren. I'm very excited for them. I've been enjoying their rise and fight back to the top. So we will see how the remainder of the season goes. Of course, we have a lot more races happening, and we do have quite more fighting ahead of us, I think, because Red Bull, Ferrari, and also Mercedes are not gonna hang back quite yet. So right now we have McLaren in first, Red Bull in second, and Ferrari in third. And for the driver championship, we still have Max Verstappen first, we have Lando Norris second, and Charles Leclerc in third. So there's still a lot more racing happening this season. I'm very much looking forward to it. This upcoming weekend, we have another street circuit race in Singapore. And I don't know if you remember last year's race for Carlos Sainz was especially great. So I think the Ferraris might have a leg up. We shall see. But let me know in the comments below what you thought of this race. Do you agree with my highlights, with my thoughts? Please chime in and let me know, and we'll chat it out in the comment section. And with that, I will leave you guys for today. Keep a lookout for our Thursday video where I will be breaking down again what you can watch, where you can watch it, and when you can watch it this upcoming weekend. There's lots of racing still happening in September, so take advantage of it while we still have a full racing calendar available to us. Please remember to also give us a little like and a subscribe. We very much appreciate it. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you guys here again at the Daily Racing Show. Bye-bye.